Greetings, true collectors. It's Kifor, back here with another review sponsored by the Headhunter store. In today's review we will be taking a look at the newest release in a NECA Robocop line, the ED 209. Before we start the review, let us take a little spin with the DeLorean and travel back to the late 80s. My first exposure to Robocop was when I was visiting my godparents, and on the way there we stopped a local video rental place. Remember those? And my parents told me I could rent any movie I wanted. The second I saw those big adverts, and the cardboard cutout of Robocop, I knew I would not leave the store without it. Those were days when you could rent R-rated, uncut movie to a 8-9-year-old, and the store employees did not say a word. That was before Finland entered the dark ages with the infamous video law that outlawed R-rated movies. It definitely was not anything like I expected it to be. With the name like Robocop, I was expecting some kind of family-friendly action movie, but instead I got hit in the face with the hyper-violent opening scene, where certain ED 209 shoots poor Mr. Kenny to little pieces. Thank God my godmother was not in the room, or she would have turned the VCR off. I had been exposed to Hammer, horror movies and Judge Dredd comics ever since I was 5 or 6 years old, but I had never seen a movie with that level of violence before. I was shocked and awed by it. I remember just being completely sucked into the movie's world and loving every second of it. It took me to an emotional roller coaster ride. And it quickly became one of my favorite movies as a kid, and still hasn't lost its luster even as an adult. It's one of the movies I watch at least once a year. It's no guilty pleasure, it's full-on guiltless fun. I'm not gonna talk about the sequels this time, less talk about them, the better. Damn you, Frank Miller. Introduction of the ED 209 is one of the most memorable scenes in the film. It has such an expertly shot scene. Second you saw it, it filled you with a sense of dread, and you immediately knew there will be trouble. When Ed was walking towards the screen, you instinctively took a step back. Even after seeing the scene 100 times, it still makes me flinch. No 3D needed. They did a really good job in making Ed more than a machine, and they made it a real character in the movie. Yes, I'm calling machine a character, it has its own personality. It's a cold, soulless, uncontrollable killing machine, without any emotions or conscience. Pretty scary, huh? Unfortunately, that dark aura disappeared quickly when he was defeated in several humiliating ways that got stupider and stupider as the movies progressed, and made him a walking punchline. ED 209 has awesome design by the legendary designer and model maker Greg Davies. It's a very simple but memorable design. If you haven't seen the original Robocop, what the hell is wrong with you? Go watch it now. I will wait. I always wanted a ED 209 figure, but I don't even remember seeing any Robocop toys in my local stores as a kid. When NECA announced the release of their ED 209, I jumped on that right away. I pre-ordered it from my supporter the Headhunter store, and now it's finally time to review it. This is a figure all Robocop fans have been waiting for a long time, and NECA finally delivers. First, let us take a look at the nice box it comes in. As you can see here, ED 209 comes in a fully enclosed box packaging. You will notice that the box features some wonderful computer-colored artwork by Jason Edmiston, showing off ED 209 itself, patrolling in front of the OCP headquarters, with some nice gun smoke rising from the gun barrels, and the ground littered with machine gun shells. It's a really nice piece. I always love seeing beautiful art like this on figure packaging. I only wish it was a completely hand-drawn image, but unfortunately hand-drawn box art seems to be a dying art form nowadays. There's a Robocop logo on the top left corner. Flipping the box over to the back side, where we see a really cool diorama shot of Ed-209 battling Robocop in Dick Jones' office. As well as list of the action features this particular figure has. It has a really neat looking box all the way around. Alright. Now that we got this big fella out of the box, let us see how it measures up. Ed-209 comes fully assembled straight out of the box, so there's no modeling skills needed whatsoever. Let's first talk about the design. Ed-209 here perfectly captures the look of the character straight from the movie. Just like NECA is known for, as you can see there's amazing amount of details worked on the sculpt. It has got a really great design to it, very reminiscent of the original movies. It has a pretty good size and it matches the scale of the NECA Robocop really well. Paint application is very sharp and clean. Whole thing is mostly made of grayish color that has a little bit of a bluish tint, with some black plastic pieces added on the top and underneath the torso, and also on the arms. Just like all of the other Robocop figures previously, it has a nice glossy finish added to the paint. You have got some darker grays and you have got shinier gunmetal silver. It's cool because it's multiple shades of gray, not just one solid gray. There is a lot of little extra painted details. You have got nice little warning stickers and decals on sides of the legs, on the gun arms, and even on the body there. Very nice touch. They have even added tiny bit of weathering here and there. There's some dirt and grime on the vents in the back, and little scuffs on the gunmetal pieces. Then on the front you can see this mesh. It has same kind of texture and looks similar to the material you usually find on microphones. Really cool looking. It has some nice variety to the sculpt that's mostly composed of large, flat surfaces. You have got this grill also on the front there, and you have got some black tubing with silver clamps at the top. First thing you notice when you pull it out of the box is how light it feels. This thing feels really lightweight. It has just 3 hollow pieces of plastic. To tell you the truth, I was little disappointed with that. It looks awesome, it has really cool look to it. But I don't understand why they chose to do it like this. It definitely makes this feel a little cheap and flimsy, almost like a kid's toy. Reason I am making such an big deal out of this is because this is geared towards adult collectors, and I paid big money for this. For a toy that's as expensive as this, you would expect it to have little more weight to it. You can see some wires and other mechanical bits and pieces. All those pieces have been painted with more metallic red, yellow and silver tones. Do you notice he's got these pistons on the side of legs? You can see some mechanics inside between the tips there. Then at the back of the figure, we have got these exhaust ports. Lots of cool little things going on. Even cooler is looking at all the details that are on the arms. There are really cool details such as the gear wheels on the elbow joints. You'll also notice there's wires on the elbows. Those are made of softer, more gummier plastic. They don't really bend and stay on firm, but you can move them around and they don't get in the way of the articulation. You can see there are really nice ammunition boxes attached to the sides of the guns. There's this really funny warning sticker, with a hand with 2 fingers missing on the side here. What's cool about the arms is the fact that both of them have different sculpts. Left arm has 2 machine guns, while the right arm has a higher caliber gun in addition to the machine gun and rocket launcher. There's a missile rack that slides up and down on a track. It also folds out slightly, but it feels so brittle, I am afraid it's gonna break, and I'm not gonna risk breaking it after what happened with the upper torso. Alright then. let us go ahead and run down all of the articulation on the big guy. Upper torso is on a swivel that allows the torso to slightly turn both left and right, and it has a great hinge joint that can move the torso pretty far back and all the way down forward. At the shoulders, these flaps are hinged, so they don't hinder the arm articulation. There is a swivel at the shoulders. Then there is a hinge at shoulder, as well as swivel right below the elbow. You can twist the hands, as well as rotate the arm cannons all the way around. Then that's gonna bring us to the legs. You have got hinged joints at the hips so that the legs can move forwards and backwards. And great swivel at the knees, allowing the legs to turn from side to side. You can move them all the way to the sides, and even make him do the splits. It has got surprisingly good articulation for a figure such as this. Making this review did not start well. We were running down articulation with my brother and I before we started to shoot the material for this review, and when we got to the upper torso a disaster struck. We heard a snap, crackle, and pop, and it broke off. I thanked the toy gods nothing cracked, and it just needed little glue to fix. We were extremely careful with the handling of the figure and didn't use much force, but that didn't help. There was so little glue administered, it was no wonder it came loose. I have heard of others having similar issues, so it must be a bigger quality problem. That didn't exactly fill me with confidence of the quality of this figure. The biggest shortcoming is lack of toe articulation. Legs are all solid pieces. This is all just a solid sculpt. So, toes are not posable. Because you can't move the toes, it's really hard to get some good walking poses. It would have been so awesome if you could replicate the legendary stairway scene from the movie, where Ed is wiggling his toes before taking a tumble down the stairs. But that's just nitpicking. So, the figure isn't quite as posable I expected, but there's still really good amount of articulation with this guy. You can really get some really cool poses out of him. In addition to the posability, it comes with a sound function. As you can see, there's this little button on the right side here. You'll also notice there's a speaker in the mouth. So, with the press of a button, you create sound effects. Pretty cool, or what? It features 2 different sound effects, and 3 classic phrases straight from the movie. They are in a constant loop, so there's no way to choose between the sounds. I wish there were different buttons for sound effects and phrases. Overall sound quality is pretty good, but volume could be a little louder. Now it's sometimes hard to hear the phrases. Another action feature, if you can call it a feature, this figure has, is that it's got the ability to extend its legs. If the legs are at full length, it has almost 2 inches to his overall height. When the legs are compressed he stands about 8 inches tall, but when they are fully extended, he's now a 10-inch figure, making him much more colossal and imposing. The legs are ratcheted so that they don't slide back down once fully extended, and they can be left at any height between neutral and full extension. It works okay, but there's a slight problem with it. When you slide the legs on the top position, figure comes very back heavy, and he starts to tilt backwards and is in danger of falling over. That could be very easily fixed if they added little more weight to the feet to make it more stable. But that's not that big of a deal. He's not meant to be posed like that anyway. Even in the movie you never saw the legs extend more than halfway. And I'd imagine that's how most of us are going to display him. Or at least, that's how I am going to pose him. We've got our Red 209 here, but what we really need is Robocop to do battle with him. It's amazing to see the 7-inch Robocop go head-to-head with this massive 10-inch beast. You can create some incredible scenes on your shelf with these two fighting to death. There you have it. This has been a review of the new Robocop Ed 209 figure from NECA Robocop line. This is yet another incredibly cool figure in a NECA Robocop line. He has a few minor and not so minor issues, problems being the articulation, that very hollow, lightweight sculpt, and the overall quality of the figure. Otherwise this figure is pretty incredible. Like I said, I have been very anxiously waiting for 6-inch scale Ed 209 to accompany my NECA Robocop figure, and I am not disappointed with him. The sculpt is just awesome with this guy, and he looks to be quite a serious threat to Robocop. Being a fan of Robocop, it's really cool finally getting to add this monster into my collection, and to see him stand alongside Robocop is really effing awesome. Now we just need NECA to produce Kane from Robocop 2 into the lineup to complete the robotic trio. NECA Ed 209 is a part NECA Robocop line, and has already hit store shelves everywhere. It can be found in stores such as the Headhunter store right now. Make sure to leave a comment and give a big thumbs up if you like this video. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Alternatively, you can follow me on my blogspot site Kifor's Cantina, on my Facebook page at Kifor, that's all in capital letters, and on my Twitter account, at Kifor79. You can find the links in the description beneath the video. Till the next time guys, and remember, you're never too old to play with your toys.